Hey, it's Dee again. This week we decided to talk about people, researching people. This time I decided to take notes on the lecture on by notepad. But then on the seminar I had my Mac, which is what I'm filming on right now. And I had like a little notepad thing on my Mac, and I've just been taking notes on there. So I'll be reading from both my notepad and my Mac. Um, First of all, we talked about the studies of culture and people, and that first started in the 1930s. As consumer culture was researched in the 1950s, and it was very technologically driven. Then we talked about interviews, what interviews do, what interviews are used for, and what do you get out of interviews. And we talked about where we find them. So we thought of interviewing in chat shows, talking, magazines, radio, news, just things like that. And then we talked about body language, and we got given this in the seminar. I don't know if you can read it. It's all back to front, sorry. And it says, The Great Interview, 25 Strategies for Studying People in Bed. And when we first got this, we were all like, what is this? And then we realised that it's about someone called Joseph Hermanowiz. I don't know how to say his name. But anyway, I'll say Joseph. I know it's rude to say the first name, but that was in 2009. He created this, well actually it was 2002, and it's comparing sleeping around with interviews. So when we talked about it in class, they compared it to body language, and one type of interview was called the one night stand. And this is when the interviewer grabs information from whoever, so grabs all the data, and then once you've got the data, they run off with it and they never see them again. So what they do is they chat up the interviewee, create a good conversation, probe for some answers and ask questions, and play the innocent. I do actually understand what they mean, because it's like one night something, they just get what they want and then they disappear with it. And then there was another form of interview that's called the committed relationship, and this is about being emotional and being self-conscious, being better to the other person, because it's sort of like a emotional roller coaster. And then we talked about Benjamin's communion and Igori's like caress or something, and it was basically about being emotional and having some sort of attachment to that person to make sure that they are not hurt in any sort of way when they're being interviewed. We found out that this is actually called qualitative interviewing. Quantitative is numerical data or statistics sort of data. Qualitative is based on the emotions inside people's opinions and things like that. And that was quoted by Ezzy in 2010. And then after we talked about interviews, we focused on focus groups. And this is when we talked about how many are usually in a focus group, which is 4 to 6. Sorry, I'm going back onto my Mac notes. It talks about it discussing with everyone, the sense of the room, so it's very sensory, sort of reminds me of counselling, how you think of like candles or the sense of smell, the warmth, the feeling of the room inside. It very much changes the opinions of your focus group of 4 to 6 people on how they react to your questions. And what else? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's what we talked about. And then we got given a task saying that we had to create a focus group on friendships. So then this time in our groups, we created a focus group and we had to film the behind the scenes of us planning what sort of way we're going to do. Are we going to do interview or are we going to do focus group? And we filmed the planning of that, so behind the scenes, what's going on, and then we filmed the actual focus group. And we came up with these questions, and it's about defining a friend. What's a friend's role? What's the meaning of a friend? Have you ever missed a friend? Is it possible to have a friend that you don't trust? Or what would end a friendship, which was pretty deep. And I thought that went pretty well. But there was a lot of overlapping when people were talking. So then my one of the team, Amy, she did interviews on her friends about friendships and things like that to get more information. We found out that interviews, you get to probe more, and because you're aiming at that one person, you get more data out of them. Whereas focus group is very broad and everyone agrees with each other. The only time it gets interesting is when there's a little debate going on. But then again, it's hard to film because everyone's talking over each other. But yeah, that's what we've done. We have to edit it now and stick it in with our behind the scenes video. Bye!